In this video, I will explain and summarize the amazing story of Up from 2009 from beginning to end. So, let's begin. The movie opens with a well-known researcher named Charles Muntz. After a year-long research in South America, or what he says as the Paradise Falls, he discovered a massive bird skeleton and claimed that this amazing bird still existed in South America. However, the great scientists of the time didn't believe Muntz and thought that he's just making these claims as a way to gain popularity. At the time, Muntz was humiliated and later dismissed from the organization. Unhappy with his bad reputation, Muntz tries to clear his name by making a commitment to bring this gigantic bird from South America, and he would not come back until he completed his mission. As a young boy, we see Ellie Fredricksen idolizing the adventurer Charles Muntz. Turns out, Carl isn't the only Muntz fan. He also meets a fellow spirit-filled and adventurous kid named Ellie. They both wish to explore Paradise Falls together. As Carl and Ellie get older, they both fall in love and get married. Together, they are renovating the house where they first met to make it look like Ellie's childhood drawing. They live a happy life there, with Carl as a balloon salesman and Ellie as a tour guide at the zoo. They spend their free time reading and cloud watching. During one of their cloud watching sessions, Carl points out a cloud that resembles a baby. Inspired, they make the decision to start a family and set up a nursery. However, when they go to the doctor, they're horrified to find that Ellie had a miscarriage and that they won't be able to have children. Carl comforts Ellie by bringing her childhood scrapbook to their home. They start keeping a spare change jar to save money for Ellie's dream trip to Paradise Falls. However, a broken tire, Carl hurting his leg, and the home being destroyed during a storm all led to them frequently cracking open the jar early. As they fix up their house, where they will spend the rest of their lives, Carl notices Ellie's artwork, which depicts her dream trip, and realizes he has yet to fulfill his promise. He arranges a surprise trip to Paradise Falls for Ellie. However, on the day Carl plans to tell Ellie, it all falls through because Ellie is hospitalized. As she previously did for him, Carl brings Ellie a balloon on his way to the hospital. Ellie moves her scrapbook over to him, and he gives her a head kiss. As time passes, we see her funeral in the church where they got married. Carl is still holding the balloon. As he climbs the steps, they become the steps to his house. He exits through the door, dragging the balloon with him. Carl, now retired and in his late 70s, stubbornly remains in his house while the area around him is being replaced by skyscrapers. The court orders Carl's transfer to an assisted living facility after he accidentally hurts a construction worker and is then considered a public nuisance. Carl, on the other hand, intends to honor Ellie's promise by transforming his house into a makeshift airship and traveling to Paradise Falls using helium balloons. 8-year-old wilderness explorer Russell, who continues stopping by Carl to complete his final merit badge for helping the elderly, unintentionally stows away. Carl is initially upset by the unexpected company, but he eventually agrees to let Russell join him to Paradise Falls. Before Carl can land and send Russell home, they're hit by a storm, which pushes the house to South America. The house lands on a mesa opposing Paradise Falls. Carl and Russell cling to the still floating home and begin walking across the mesa, hoping to be at the falls before the balloons collapse. Russell feels really exhausted while walking as he and Carl go through the forest. Following that, he notices some footprints in the forest and assumes they belong to a snipe. Russell claps and starts calling the bird, but he can't find it. He pulls out a bar of chocolate and starts to eat it while he wonders where the bird went. Unexpectedly, a bird eats his chocolate. Russell then summons the bird with the chocolate that he's holding, and after a while, the bird comes out and Russell is shocked to see such a giant bird. The bird and Russell grow close over time, and he names the bird Kevin. They soon encounter Doug, a golden retriever that wears a special collar that allows him to communicate in English. Together, they form an unlikely team and face various obstacles and challenges on their journey. The following morning, Carl, Russell, and Doug wake up and find Kevin crying because she lost her chicks. After bidding Carl and Russell farewell, Kevin takes off to find her lost chicks. In the meantime, a pack of dogs arrives and starts starts searching for the exotic bird. Russell and Carl are worried, but the dogs are unable to locate Kevin. That group of dogs then takes Carl, Russell, and Doug to their master, the now elderly Charles Muntz. Carl meets his idol, Charles Muntz, who's been living there for years in quest of the exotic bird. Muntz offers an invitation to join his airship, the Spirit of Adventure, and tells Carl and Russell about his quest to find the bird. Carl understands that Muntz's obsession with getting the bird drove him insane and led him to murder innocent visitors whom he believed were also trying to find the bird. Muntz perceives them as thieves and turns aggressive when Russell points out the skeleton's resemblance to Kevin. Until Kevin intervenes to save them, the dogs chase Carl, Russell, and Doug. As Kevin runs away, one of the chasing dogs bites her leg, leaving her unable to stand by herself. They are able to escape the dogs. Carl complies with Russell, asks him to help Kevin go home and reunite her with her chicks, but months later catches her after tracing the group using Doug's collar. Muntz causes a fire under Carl's house, forcing him to decide between saving it or Kevin. Carl decides to save his house, which really upsets Russell. At the falls, Carl goes through Ellie's childhood scrapbook and finds that she filled in the blank pages with pictures of their wedding, along with a message she wrote from her hospital bed, thanking him for the adventure and urging him to have a new one. Carl realizes that his journey was never about getting to Paradise Falls, but about the life he created with Ellie. He runs outside, re-energized, only to find Russell chasing Kevin down with a leaf blower and some balloons. Carl lightens his house by throwing out furniture and keepsakes, allowing it to fly again. Russell is taken prisoner by Muntz, but Carl immediately tries to save him. Carl and Doug devise a plan to defeat Muntz and free Kevin. With the help of a pack of dogs, they manage to overpower Muntz and save Kevin from his clutches. Carl uses a piece of chocolate to get Kevin back to the airship, while Muntz follows them to the tethered house. Muntz rushes after them, but he is killed when his leg snags on balloon strings. When the home vanishes out of sight, Carl decides to let it go and move Russell and the dogs onto the dirigible. Carl successfully guides the floating house to safety as the Spirit of Adventure plummets to the earth. He makes sure that they land safely, far from Muntz's reach, with Russell and Kevin by his side. A major triumph is achieved by their successful escape, since they have not only rescued themselves, but also stopped Muntz from taking advantage of Kevin's endangered species. Carl, Russell, and Kevin return to their hometown following their dramatic escape from Charles Muntz's grasp, and the locals, who are astounded by their extraordinary experience, praise them as heroes. Russell obtains his Assisting the Elderly badge, and Carl gives Russell a grape soda bottle cap that Ellie gifted Carl when they first met, which he now refers to as the Ellie badge. Unbeknownst to Carl, the home falls from the sky and settles on the cliff next to Paradise Falls, keeping his promise to Ellie. Up is a lovely story about love, friendship, and the transformational power of accepting life's unpredictability. It serves as a reminder that our most memorable experiences are frequently found in the relationships that we develop along the road.